Yeah, I made a copy.
Well, not yet. That's Ted's before.
That's Ted, but it's 6 o'clock, so I start at
Got
6
it.
o'clock.
Well, maybe we'll start a little
We're
later.
kind of waiting on Paul. He doesn't show up in the next couple of minutes. If you want to postpone it, so we could do it to the next meeting.
I do not want to.
No, not with money. I don't
Well,
want to
I'd rather-
postpone money 2 weeks.
There's all kinds of stuff going on in life right now. If we-
I mean, are the checks written?
Not yet.
Okay, so I mean, the checks need to get written and stuff. It's not gonna happen tonight anyway.
No, it's not gonna happen tomorrow either.
I have no problems coming in and
Well, if I say, I,
two other people.
and I don't have a problem with voting for it tonight, but I don't know that, did you already look at them through, Joel, or not?
Not the vouchers,
Well, I don't know. I don't care what we do.
but I don't know. Look at them anyway. I gotta check them over because
Yeah.
I wanted to look and see what Guy spends time on because this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't look at it.
Very
So,
good.
okay,
That's
good.
mine.
Extra paper clip here, putting it together.
It was here.
That's one of the. We were gonna have a pizza party or something.
All right. Well.
No, we have a 3-minute meeting and prove them. They're done. That's it.
Okay, right. Just Paul show up by and by.
If he wants us to remind him that it's a meeting night.
Yes. So I take it you can hear us okay, Ted?
Not too bad. You are fairly soft. You know, so I have to turn the volume up in order to be able to hear you, but when it comes through, it's fairly clear.
I don't know how to do that. Although my tech guy's here.
What you need to do is you go into Zoom and increase the input volume.
It's all right.
It's under
It's all right. We just were talking.
audio options.
Can you make the microphone more without making?
Yeah, it's pretty
Good
loud.
call.
I would just try to talk louder or.
Yeah, I
Because
do.
you're just getting picked up.
Because that's
There's nothing here.
plenty loud.
We weren't actually in the meeting at that point when they were just looking at papers, so we were quiet.
Yeah, he's not supposed to hear us.
Okay. All right, so let us call the meeting to order at 6:03. Other additions or deletions to the agenda?
Good, maybe. I was thinking about next week, the next agenda, not this one.
Okay, well, we'd like to talk about that at the end.
Yeah, just shut up.
You got it.
For the moment, but
Oh,
until the appropriate time, right?
Okay. That's recorded, right?
Right. Privilege of the floor. Is anyone here, either in person or on Zoom land, who would like to address the board on any topic? Rhonda? No, Meryl.
Are you waiting for them to answer you?
Well, I mean, next question, who goes first? If you raise your hand, I'd be happy to have you go first. So come up.
So I don't know what step you want me to take next. Of the shed builders I've been to, they say to me, we don't build them, someone builds them for us. We're the salesman. I give them my list of requirements from the code guy and they say, we'll get back to you. They have not. Mr. Merlin, who was a Mennonite in Newark Valley, when I said that to him, he goes, we build them right here. It's me and my boys. Let's sit down and talk. Within 2 days, he had had a conversation with Mr. Corright in code, and I had a quote. To meet the R value, and the shed they have on the lot already has residential door, residential windows. To meet the R value, he will just pick it up with straps. He'll have a guy come in and spray foam the whole thing. We will meet R value. He has proven that to the code officer, and were under 15,000, so. Do you want me now to go to two other shed builders and try to get a price quote from a building on the lot? Do you want, what's the next, what do you want?
What was the quote?
14,299.80. And the other two cannot even give me a quote on trucking until I pick the shed
Mhm.
based on width and length.
This fun.
So
But
the,
you asked me to please come back with something, so I have come back with
Yeah.
something.
so the 14, does that include delivery?
No,
No, they
Build
build
site.
it on site.
no, it is built there, he will have it trucked.
Where's,
What we did,
where's there?
Newark Valley.
Newark Valley, yeah,
How far is that?
not very far,
No.
just
Um,
other side of a we go.
Shouldn't be too bad.
and, um.
Hmm.
The other place I just left, all the list of specs from Mr. Corwright is at Power and Paddle, and he said, we don't build them, we'll send it up. And I still haven't, I left again for a second time. Cause I know the owner and I'm like, can you please?
Yeah,
And Sam's like, I did, okay. But I'll do whatever you want the next step to be, I just need to know what it is. What the board would like to see.
I think, the appropriate thing is to have the committee deal with it, which is where we were,
What committee?
the water district. committee.
Yeah, they are, yes.
There were two things, at the last meeting, there was a two-track process. One was to scope out what are the costs for having it built and getting it there, which is what Meryl's been working on. And the other one was to re-approach the fire district about the shared use of the fire hall, which you and Ben were gonna do.
According to Sharon and Mel and Mr. Wes Miller, chairman of the board, they are not reconsider it until their lawyer changes his mind. So you want that in writing?
Did you ask
Do you
about
want
it?
that in writing?
Can you explain what you just said? You said.
There was, the lawyer was the one who said nix the.
Basically,
Yeah.
nix the,
place.
The fire district's lawyer.
Yeah.
Next, the idea of the building that you're.
The shared
No,
service.
No,
Shared
they're-
Fearing the
so
fire
they
hall.
wouldn't need it.
He's talking about two different, he's got you going two different directions.
Yeah.
Shared service,
Sorry, I'm sorry.
shared services, shared building, shared offices,
Right, that's
which
the
is
other,
what they offered 2 years ago.
Yeah, initially, yeah.
but this is gonna take care of that.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
all.
it's
Well, the
it's
lawyer says no.
an
that
alternate
can't happen.
pathway.
What? You're a lawyer?
Yeah.
There's like,
Fire- no, she
Fire
gets
district
close.
lawyer.
Makes, I don't know, makes sort of sense. It's too bad,
It's,
but
Yep,
well, I think I know that guy, sort of, just because I've run up against it like 5 or 6 years ago. It's tough.
so it's
But-
not surprising.
So are you saying that this is, he doesn't think this is okay?
no.
No,
No.
no.
Nothing to do with this.
that's what I
Okay.
said to you.
Great.
He's got you in two different directions.
Right, so
I'm
let's give up
asking
on the
you about-
lawyers, give up on the lawyers,
Thank
do
you.
the thing that's simple
Um,
and get the thing done.
So, but what I've also been told by someone else within the town and someone else who's a town trustee elsewhere is because it's not tax dollars, it's not water district dollars. You're doing it with ARPA funds. I don't actually have to put it out to bid, but the town board may want 3 comparable
Quotes.
written quotes.
That's what I was wondering about, whether the state had requirements.
Well, we
For
have
us to-
requirements, we have a
And
procurement
it-
policy.
It's a royal pain in the neck
Yeah,
kind of thing. It doesn't, I mean, getting 3 bids seems
Well, maybe
absolutely
these
fair.
other two places will come through with
Is that what
something.
you would like
I
me to
mean-
do?
Do you think?
There's-
I don't
they
know.
might?
How long do you want me to wait?
I mean, I'd like to know how much these guys are gonna charge for shipping it here.
Okay, well, I can go back and ask them,
That would.
cause they don't do it. They have
No,
someone who does it for
They
them.
have somebody
Yeah.
that does it for them.
But that
So,
would be a
But
great.
you're doing, but dotting your i's and crossing your t's, and you're soliciting bids from various people who can supply them. I think you're doing due diligence.
And it has
And
to be
if by the next
supplied,
meeting,
it has to
they
be
still
supplied
haven't.
by my list of requirements from the code guy.
right, cool,
Okay.
yeah,
So
I know. you.
I'm not getting replies back on that because none of the sheds on the lots I have been to meet that.
Right, well, then that,
That's
you go.
like having
That-
quotes at
There
the
is an
beginning of
escape clause in the procurement policies that if you can't get.
Right,
Right,
Which is great.
Yeah, so I mean, if you
Right.
make a good faith effort and you can't
So
get
to
it.
right.
to me, it's up to the board. What would you prefer
Can we put a deadline on
to
it?
see?
Just say by the next meeting or next, even if 2 weeks from now isn't soon enough time, then I'd go for a month, but I'd say by the next meeting.
Yeah.
If she can't get in the bids to people to respond, then we deal with it as a way to complete.
well, it sounds like they also are saying they don't do that.
Right.
Yeah,
They
they
mean,
don't have a problem.
So
So
you-
we're already
The
finding out.
combination of unresponsive and
Right.
we don't
Right.
do it.
right,
So we
Right.
find out what the shipping is.
Yeah,
Do you know,
so
Do you
you
know
heard
the
you heard
road
that, right?
boxes?
Find out what the
do
shipping
you
is.
know,
Yes, I heard. Yes, sir.
do you know the ice cream people? I just drove by there today and I thought, I wonder what they're doing with that building.
You're talking about their old shed over there,
Yeah,
that right down the highway,
right,
Yeah.
that used to do ice cream. They
right,
don't do it anymore.
I know.
So I would have to make sure that because it's gonna be a public office, that it fit this.
right.
You probably have to.
So
I mean,
I would
that
have
had
to-
to be a food service joint. I don't know what kind of,
I think
Code that might
he
be
only
there.
had it in the summertime, so
Yeah.
obviously didn't have
But-
to be insulated, doesn't have to be.
it might be interesting to know, maybe they, who built theirs.
That's
Or
also
maybe
not
they'd be
very
willing to sell it if it was, you know,
Okay, if you want me to pursue that, I can ask the code guy what their building permit said.
Cause it's there, it's in the record somewhere.
Right, that's what
oh,
I'm saying.
that's right, that's right,
They had to go through him like I
right,
am to
right,
get it to a certain spec.
right.
We don't want
Might
to
be
send you on a
interesting to
rabbit,
know.
goose chase, but,
No,
try it.
no, it's
See
not.
if it's easy, do it.
And if they
Say-
are not gonna, they also would have had to tell him when they were gonna be open or what season they were on, so
Right.
I can ask them what their initial plans were.
Right,
Just it's been sitting there vacant. I just, I don't know whether they have plans for it or whether they'd like to get rid of it.
It's not big enough for an office space, probably.
Oh,
but
sure
That's
it
what
is.
we're looking at.
right, yeah, I think it's pretty small.
It's
pretty
right, but it
small.
would
You're
be
not
bigger
looking
than
for
the
anything
office at the
big.
fire station.
Yeah,
Go take a look at it first,
Well, I would have to ask the code guy how it would have to be retro, because if it's for
Yeah,
food
right.
service, then
Yes,
everything would have
yeah.
to be ripped out.
ask the
Right.
code guy whether he thinks it would be silly or not.
Okay,
And I guess it's
For next time, this should have been under reports. And if you
I
told me,
just,
then I would have put it on.
so
the
I'm gonna
agenda.
privilege the floor because I have to leave. I'm sorry. I just wanna know when next
That's
step and
cool.
I'm gone.
Okay.
Yes.
Two more
Sure.
travel,
If
two
possible.
more, and ask about the ice cream shop.
Cool beans.
Possible.
Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now,
15,000 and
Well, plus
Plus
shipping.
14, but
Yeah.
I wonder how much shipping.
I don't know. We'll see.
Under 15,000.
that's under, right?
Ooh, yeah, just a little bit. No tax.
Well, the thing, you can't compare the Wilcox price because how long is that ice cream place, when did it?
Well,
get
nobody can
put
find
in?
out who it is who supplied it.
Right.
Maybe they,
Find
maybe
out
they
that,
yeah,
right.
find it was somebody who's
Maybe
already
they-
approached her.
It's not, we need to just move on. It's not part of the agenda.
Nope, it wasn't part of the agenda before.
I
this.
seem to remember that guy he was doing it for his daughter, and his daughter never got interested in it, so he kind of left it pretty much.
Yeah,
Wasn't
it's
some-
kind of too bad.
No, could have been a son, it could have been they.
Anyway, back to the matter at hand, which is privilege of the floor. Let's see, I'm not sure who was first, but Ted.
It was Rhonda first, but I'm happy. I would
Okay.
like to address the item on the agenda about users of town email. And
Okay.
pardon me if it seems like I'm lecturing. I'm going to state some facts and I'm going to state some opinion. I think the difference between them should be pretty obvious. I believe Leslie was there. Joel, you might have been, but I distinctly remember a presentation from a gentleman from the New York State Archives. He was invited by Pamela some years ago to talk about retention schedules. And one of the things that came up was email. And he was very kind to point out that, and this is confirmed by the correspondence that's noted on the agenda today. One of the things he pointed out is that you don't have to use town emails, but if someone uses a private email for town business, it becomes foilable. Not that particular email, but their entire email. Now, based on that, it's basically a matter of protection for the people involved that they should use town email for the town purposes. Otherwise, their entire email record becomes foilable. In other words, just for example, I could do a foil on Archie Bunker's email saying, I want to see anything where he mentions the word Ted or Crane. And trust me, if I were a town official or whatever, I would say, I'm not crazy. Of course I want a town email. I don't want my private talking in my private conversations to be foilable. So that came from the archives. You will also remember Mr. Robert Freeman, who we will talk about only the good things he did. And one of the good things he did was say the same thing, which is you don't want your email subject to FOIL. I heard several presentations from him. And so I agree. I'm very glad that Mariah sent the note to request advice. And I'll just say, read that advice carefully. You don't have to do it, but you should do it for the protection of your basically the town, quote, people. Now, Mariah unfortunately used the word volunteer. I think she was referring to board members as volunteers, not yourselves who are elected, but other board members. That's probably a bit of unnecessary misdirection. They may not be paid, which makes them amateurs, and they may have volunteered, but nonetheless, they are a person who's sitting on a board is a town official and should be able to use the town system. If they don't like it, I feel for them. I've had to use some software I don't like either. But if I had the choice, and this is opinion, if I had the choice between making my email foilable and using software I don't like, it's not a choice. I would use the software. And so I urge you to increase that list that I think Mariah prepared, to include every appointed official. You don't have to worry about library volunteers. I don't care about mechanics. They're not doing business for the town. But anybody who sits on a board should be on there. Thanks. That was my point.
Okay, thanks. We'll deal with that
Rhonda.
next time, maybe. Rhonda.
Just getting back to something close to what Ted was talking about. I just wanted to make a shout out to Mariah for her response to my email saying I'm on it. And it was a great response to my little comment that I couldn't get in touch with the town board or the CAC through email. And I'm glad to know that she's on it and isn't having a meltdown over this. And I hope she stays calm and cool and collected. Anyway, thank you, Mariah, for your comment.
If I may, one thing I forgot to say, and it's relevant. In the last couple of days, I forget exactly who it was. It might have been Renee Owens, posted on Facebook identifying herself as a member of the CAC. And she posted about a pretty innocuous topic. But I'm not going fact here. I'm giving opinion, but I think I'm right. That makes her entire record on Facebook now foilable. People have to be very careful about what you post and what you email.
Anyone else like to address the board? All right.
Correspondence.
As was alluded to, we both Mariah and I contacted Lori Niffen. If I remember the last name.
Doesn't matter.
Demasi, about the email issue, and we got a nice response, which is everybody had a chance to look at. And I think that does cover the ground and give us a basis for revisiting our policy, which we probably should do, next time. And then she also gives a list of who, as a sort of starting place, we might want to have emails consistent with the policy that we might want to adopt, but not consistent with the policy that we have in place. Which is, current policy is that anybody who does town business should have a town email. But that's, nobody else is doing that. And there may be a workaround, but we can talk about it. I don't believe there are any announcements. Anybody have an announcement?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. We have the town clerk's report.
I mean, are we gonna talk about the email users list or
Not now.
Not, no,
Said next meeting.
yeah, we could,
next meeting?
yeah. So there's two things here, that we have the town clerk's report, but we also have it from Mariah, she was asked to look into the process of codification, and she has that report. And would you like to speak to it, Mariah?
I'm sorry, let me get into that. I just went over what I currently do for a local law and what any change I would do if we had the codification process. I would simply, I mail a local law to the state department, and I would just make a copy of it and mail it to general code if we had that software. Actually, I believe I would send a email with the new local law. I don't think I'd have to print it up and actually put it in an envelope. I think I would send it by email to general code, and whereas I send a copy to the state.
The only thing that wasn't clear, I mean, what we clarified was that it would be sent to them, and then they would sort of accumulate for a while, and then they would run them through a batch to add them to the thing, and there would be a quote for that, but we have no idea what those kind of costs are associated with that process.
Correct. I believe it's $24 a page. And that is for, so a new local law would go into a holding area. Which you can see, you can log on and see, oh, look, Danby has adopted a new local code. But until we pay to have it incorporated into the volume, it just sits there. We can see it. It's a new code. But the real benefit of having it incorporated in is that you can look it up, you can, type in a word like animals or dumping, or, whatever it is you're interested in, and all the codes with that word in it will come up. It's a great way to search, and I would encourage everyone to go to the town of Ithaca codes. They have their codes in this general code codified, and there's one sitting out there that hasn't been incorporated yet, but you can also look through and do a search in their codes. It's really nice. And we're finding that the permitting and licensing software that we're looking at really wants us to have our codes codified in order to work right.
Interface.
So, okay, so then when we get let's say 2 or 3 local laws passed and they're sitting in this holding area, then we say, okay, give us a quote for incorporating those new laws into our volume of laws. And they'll go through and, take out all the keywords and make sure they're all searchable, and put them in with the other laws that are similar. And have it all looked at by their legal team.
And that's what they charge $24 a page to do.
Correct.
Okay, so that gives you an idea. pass short laws.
Past short laws, yes, very good.
Okay, we'll come back to this as an action item in later on the agenda,
Very
but
good.
thank you. And we had Steve's report too, in writing. And our planner is here with a verbal report. I think that chair was.
I'm gonna sit down. Yeah, I also wanna. Are some of these mics on? Yeah, some of these mics.
You don't need it though.
I know, but I wanna turn them off. 'Cause
Yes, right.
Well, they're not, oh, they are on. Look
they're-
at
they're
that.
on. Yeah, some of them are on.
We don't need that console doesn't need to be on.
This one's on.
No, honestly, a lot of these cords and cables could just be.
Yeah.
We could clean some of those.
Yeah, we
I'll
could.
work on that.
And we will, since this seems to be working out quite well.
Yeah, it might be worth getting a second one. You know, one down
One
here,
down the
one
same
here,
one,
but,
yeah.
but anyway. All right, let's give some brief updates here. So just for everyone to know, Danby Food and Drink across the street is having a soft opening this week.
Oh.
So there'll be a retail opening up, but some of the hot food and hot drinks won't be more up and running, and beer won't be up and running until a little bit later down the road, but there will be.
They're working their way into it.
Yeah, I think it sounds like it'll be open this week, so that'll be exciting. Planning board, the last planning board meeting, a minor subdivision on 18 East Miller was approved. It's a 1 lot to 2 lot subdivision in the Hamlet neighborhood zone district. The owner is currently building a house on the new lot currently. The next meeting is June 18th, and we have a site plan review for a single family home in the rural 1 zone district at 2016 Danby Road scheduled for that night. And then we'll also be having a conversation about a coffee shop trailer on 1914 Danby Road.
Where's 1914?
That's just past Michigan Hollow.
It's that guy.
It's Zach's property, right? Board of Zoning Appeals, we don't have any applications submitted yet for this month, but there might be one submitted for review. CDBG 2024 housing grant application. So we're gearing up to submit an application this year. There are some property owners on a wait list. I have had 2 property owners reach out to me to add them to a wait list, and I know that Toma Development has some waitlisted homeowners from the last round, right? So on the docket tonight are 2 proposals were submitted for grant writing services. As you know, in tandem, I also applied for county funds to cover that cost. It sounds now, because that amount that I requested from the county was over $5,000, it has to go to the county legislature for vote. So we won't know that we have the money until June 18th, which is a little late to give a grant writer, a thumbs up. It does sound like, though, from the county, we were the only ones who applied. And so it sounds likely, yeah, right. It sounds likely that we will get it. So we initially applied for 10,000, but after seeing some of the money, some of the numbers come in from Toma and Choice Words, we dropped it down to 8,000 because it is a reimbursement grant, and the county doesn't want to earmark more than what it actually costs. So that's on the agenda just for later tonight, and I can talk about more when that comes up. But that application is due at the end of July. So there will be a public hearing that is going to be required for that application, which I've also asked the town board to consider scheduling it for July 1st. Yeah, it could also be for July 15th, but we thought might as well just get it done with. Yeah, just get it.
Although there's something you said for 15, because we thought about putting it in the newsletter, but I don't think it's gonna attract a whole lot of interest. For July 1st?
Yeah, the newsletter always comes out 3 or 4 days before the end of the month.
And the meeting is in July 1st anyway.
So that grant application is coming up. The Safe Streets for All countywide initiative that I've been sort of giving little pieces of information about. There is a live website now, and this will be on my, Mariah will have this as part of the notes, but it's safestreetstompkins.com. safestreetstompkins.com. Please go on it. There's a safety feedback map that the public can submit comments on, an interactive map of saying, here's where there's, issues
Okay.
with a road or, safety concerns.
Been around for a while, hasn't it, that site, no?
No, it just got
No.
created. There might have been some other iterations in the
There was
past.
Something a while ago.
Yeah, because I remember it going on it.
Yeah, and we got this, we got the report too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Well, we'll check it out,
It's probably
safestreetstompkins.com,
15 years.
and submit some comments on that map. Let's see, continuing staff support for the South Hill Trail Extension Project. Maybe you're all aware that the 4 towns will be applying this June for a DOT Active Transportation Infrastructure Investment Program for the scoping and planning of the new trail. So that's going in June 17th. That's
Something like that coming soon,
it's being led by Caroline, and we're all supporting that effort. The special event law that we reviewed a couple of months ago, I'll plan to have that back from the board in July. There's just some comments. I haven't gotten back to it yet, but I'll just plan to have that back to July. And then lastly, I wanted to update the board about the Norbit Solar project, because that's kind of been hanging out in the background for a while. So Norbit is currently under construction right now. All this erosion and sediment controls are in place and functioning well. There were some issues there, as you know, for a while.
It probably doesn't rain.
And you'll notice too, over here next to the town hall, there's a lot of activity going on. There was a crane out here today, putting in it's a culvert, huge culvert just got put in there. That will be installed by this week, I think by the 6th, so in a few days. So that's the interconnection site. They're also installing posts 3 to 4 feet deep for the solar arrays right now on the main site, and the transformer vaults are being built. The racking of the solar modules, so actually putting the solar modules on top of the posts, is scheduled for next week, and construction is planned to be complete by October. Knowing construction, it might get kicked back, but their intended target is October to be complete. They're shooting for this phrase is permission to operate. That's when they request to operate the system. So that's their target. They didn't say when they're actually shooting for that when I spoke to the construction manager last week. They required landscaping per the town's approved site plan. We would probably inspect it in the spring of 2025. So even if they do complete by this fall, they might be able to do some fall plantings. There are some species that do well when there's planted in fall, right? But they might have to finish things up in the spring. So I don't anticipate a full CO until next year. Any questions about anything?
Well, there'll be more later,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Applause.
Oh, yeah.
Not you. Oh, applause.
but,
Yes.
moving on, we have a draft of the minutes, but produced so recently, we haven't had a chance to look at them. So I think, thank you, Mariah, for getting them drafted. But I'm okay with leaving them in that status and approving them next time.
Yeah.
I read it and they're fine, but
Yeah, but I think it'd be good if we had a chance to.
When did you get them?
I went back online about 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they'd been up there for 2 hours by then, but that's when I.
I mean, my link took me to a, what was sort of an outline for today's meeting.
But at any rate,
Well, I mean,
most of us haven't had a chance to really look them over. But,
did you look at?
but they're available as a draft.
I didn't see it on that earlier.
I mean,
That's the
that's what I got. And so, yeah, next meeting.
Mhm.
Cool. I mean. it's-
What?
it's-
Just a little addendum, because some things came up today. So before Meryl was talking, I know. So before Meryl was talking about the shed that they want to in place on the water district property. So just a couple of things that where they want to locate the shed, they would need a variance for that. It's in the high priority preservation zone district that has 100-foot setbacks. So where they want to place the shed is much less than that, so they would need a variance. I'm sure the town would waive the fee. They wouldn't want to charge themselves. But in my capacity, I can't approve a structure that's any closer than 100 feet
From what?
from the property line.
From the
of-
property
of
line.
The fire district. Also, a little bit of an encumbrance was found, there's a survey of the fire district property. I don't wanna make this any more complicated than it needs to be, but it's just a shed, but. There is a 50-foot right of way. When the fire district property was subdivided off in the early 90s,
Mhm.
there was a 50-foot right of way on the north side of that property line dedicated there to the fire district.
For what?
And the shed is located in that right of way. It's just for accessing the fire district property. Even though there's a hill there with a
Yeah.
bush and it's not actually used. But my communication to the water district, to Ben on the board was, I can't approve
Right.
something in a right of way. So does this mean that the fire district needs to now approve of this location in that?
Probably, yeah.
So there's a couple
Yeah.
layers. So one is
Yeah.
maybe a variance for allowing it closer than 100
Yeah.
feet. I don't think that should be a big deal. It's
Mhm.
so far back from the road.
And those
it's-
meetings can be, the guys I know will do those meetings. Like Toot Sweet,
Yeah,
you could do
and
it.
it's not, so I just wanted to bring that up as we're talking about the shed. The other thing too is that we had a couple of complaints about some dumping of material on Nelson Road. A couple of them last week and then a couple more today.
Mhm.
And I was
Huh.
about to go issue some stop work orders. And then ended up talking to the property owner and it sounded like that the fill was actually coming from the highway department. So I just want to be able to close the loop, and I know that Keith, you're on the call today. I was hoping to maybe give you a call, but just wanted to close the loop. Maybe we can talk too offline about when there's fill being placed on it.
Can you hear me, Greg?
Yeah.
So Nelson Road, I'm not sure what property you're talking about. We've, the one right on the corner of Nelson and East Miller, maybe?
It's
No.
575 Nelson Road. It's no, it's a little bit further up the hill from
It's
Miller.
across from Don Schaffler's. I don't know what his address is.
No, I don't know. What was the issue with I guess I don't understand what the issue was.
Well, just so in terms of the only thing that I would look at if anybody was adding fill onto their property, you know, if it's 1 or 2 loads of something, that's fine. But when it starts to become a lot of filled material, the stormwater law kicks in and says that.
Oh, yeah. I totally understand that. So I think you're talking about it's the property right on Nelson and East Miller at the top. That's right on the corner there, right?
No,
No, there's one a little bit further up. It's.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's one up from the corner.
Right, and then Tony Augustine's property too, that's one, and then
Gotcha.
there's another-
So actually, we've only dumped maybe a matter of maybe 5 or 6 loads in there. That was actually all Tompkins County. That was not, we didn't have much hand in that at all, so. You'd have to get with county.
County highway?
They should know that. Yeah, they should know that. County put probably, I want to say 150 loads in there. We put maybe 5 to 10 maybe.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea, on the weight scale.
That's good to know, yeah,
And we did turn off that site. That site's no longer being used with us. So.
okay. Yeah, it was just good to close the loop. It was a little awkward when the owner said, oh, that's the town dumping it, and so, you know, I wasn't gonna go issue a stop work order for.
They a lot of times they seem to, they're gonna use the upper hand. If we put 1 load in there, we put 30, so. They're gonna use that but in all reality, we might have put maybe, I don't know, 5, 10 loads in there is all.
and
But
most of that was coming the other direction.
yeah, the majority of it was all coming from county, but.
All right, so I'll just,
For a long time.
all right, so
Yeah.
I think just in general, right, if there's a number of loads, just some stormwater controls, just a
Yeah.
simple, so
We always, Greg, I want to give you just a heads up too. So when we go out and look at fills, I go out personally and look at fill sites. I look for water tributaries. I look for, anything that these guys are going to get in trouble with, wires, uneven ground. There's so many things that we have to look at these fill sites. We're not just going out there and dumping wherever. And soil and water is my number one main concern. So there was some other issues there too and I think he just got overbearing with as much fill as he got there, and it all I think he understood the reality of it, and they just kept dumping on him. So I don't know what their protocol is in dumping their topsoil or their ditch fill, but I do use a lot, and actually I'm trying to get people now to sign something saying that they understand that all the stuff that goes with ditch fill, that we're trying to be transparent to let them know that this is ditch fill, and it's not it's not fresh, clean topsoil what everybody thinks it is. It could have some stuff in it. It could have anything in it. We don't know what's in it. And it's great to have when you need it, and but it can come with some woes too, and we put these trucks on people's properties. You can break lines, water lines, whatever have you. So those are all things that I'm keeping in mind when I pull those trucks in on people's properties. It's a very we put a lot of thought into it.
Can I ask a question? Are you asking,
Sure.
is Greg asking Keith to supply some paperwork with you for the stormwater?
No, I wouldn't say it's paperwork. No, it was just, I wanted to just close the loop, and you know what even might help? I mean, because like this property owner, or a couple property owners on Nelson Road called and said, hey, there's a lot of fill going on and clearing and grading. What's going
Sure.
on? So then Steve and I are looking for building permits, and we're trying to figure out,
Yeah.
what do they do? But before we issue any stop work, we want to figure out, was there an approval that we gave that we're not, keeping up with? So I almost wonder if there are property owners that are willing to receive fill, even if we just have their address, if we just have their name and address, just in our back pocket of, if we know when somebody starts complaining about something going on, we could say, oh yeah, that's a site that the town is working with to dump fill on. That might help.
Yeah.
Keith, it sounds like he wants a heads up.
Yeah.
Can you give him a heads up?
Another concern might be, I know the zoning law has, for one, they have you can only have so many acres that are disturbed. Soil and water usually looks like, looks after about an acre. If it's not around tributaries, you can go up to about an acre of property with soil and stuff. If you're, and you also have to think too, we're already grass seeding and we're hydro seeding, and but we're taking measures right away. But I think in our zoning laws, I think we have, I can't remember, this is years ago, but I remember there was a law in there that says you can't disturb more than, I think it's maybe a quarter acre or something, or I might be wrong on that.
It's in the stormwater law. There's just different thresholds of, if you disturb a half acre or more, you should do these kind of controls.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so generally, if it's less than half an acre, it's not going to require much. But if you start getting over half an acre,
Yeah.
it will
So
require
I'll start taking that into more consideration too, of like when we're really piling it up, when these people spread it out, it's going to be more than, you're going to have more than half an acre or a quarter acre sometimes. So that is something I need to consider. So,
This particular site more than half an acre, Greg?
Yeah. What?
Is this particular site more than half an acre?
Well, I
Disturbed area?
have no idea.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's,
I mean,
I've never been on the project. I just see it from the road.
Yeah.
Maybe Keith, just if you know of sites that you all will be dumping on in the future, even just shooting.
absolutely. Absolutely, will do.
And then if a neighbor starts to ask questions, they can,
Sure, absolutely. Yep. And if there's ever a problem with it, if they ever want to call Highway 2, Greg, you can give my number, and We can explain, you know, sometimes it comes better just right from the horse's mouth, so.
Yeah,
um,
it just helps knowing that it's coming from highway, because I think these people thought it was like a, you know, they were
Sure.
about to build something or do something, so, yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
okay,
All right, thanks, Keith. So that's-
thank you.
Yeah,
I didn't complain about, I didn't raise that issue with you
No, that
about the Nelson Road,
Yeah.
but
no,
I've been
there's-
watching it
no,
for
there's two other
months.
people, yeah.
Months. And the thing that I wonder about is where's the property line in the back? And is all that fill having an impact at all on somebody else's property? I mean, I would think it would be probably impacting drainage and
Yeah, so they have to look at that, yeah.
yeah, so I just, in the back of my mind was thinking, I think Augustine owns the property, but
Right.
I think,
Yeah,
but anyway.
yeah, normally with a ground disturbance form, people have to show where they're planning to disturb and how,
Right.
many, you know, how
What
much
kind of-
they're disturbing.
What kind of control measures they're gonna.
Right. So I don't necessarily need to, you know, I don't know if I need to require that of the highway department for every single fill site, but even just saying, you know, here's where we're gonna dump, and then just so we have it, we understand.
Yeah.
And I think the county, I should follow up with the county too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was,
Sounds like they're
for
doing.
months, the road was mud
Mhm.
from the
Right.
trucks.
Nelson?
Yeah,
I'll do that.
County highway's not very good about.
it was pretty bad.
That reminds me of something that I could have said earlier, but it's, I got yet another phone call about derelict buildings and things on properties,
Yeah.
so we have to have some kind of
Trash.
discussion, trash and junk and around different places. We need to talk about
Why
it
don't we talk about,
sometime.
why don't we put on agenda for next time?
Yeah,
Junk and code enforcement.
Can
right.
Steve be here? What, he's got a meeting. What?
Well, we keep
7?
meeting on Mondays, you know.
He's got a meeting at 7?
Is it 7?
Well.
Well, you can talk, you can have your own private meeting with them and then just report to us. Where Steve is with this. No,
Yeah, but,
It's a
but
town-wide
recall
issue.
that we, the board, are the administrative unit for the town.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
as a code guy, nobody likes to do this.
Yeah,
No,
And
right.
it's really hard to get people to like pull
Right,
on them.
prioritize
But you
it.
really gotta push it, you know.
Well, that's what I was
And you
thinking,
gotta really follow up on these things.
but there might be another way to start doing something that's before going. I mean, maybe a citizens group that
Right.
wanders around and, you know, get some people that have the citizen group. I don't know. I'm just thinking maybe there's some other way to start, because what we've been doing is not effective.
Citizens groups doing this, which ends up in Steve's lap, is probably not a great idea.
Maybe Steve with somebody
He can,
else.
they can just
Make
make
one
a
of us go
complaint
go.
directly to Steve
Yeah.
anytime they want to.
Well, I didn't mean
And he-
that, I didn't
Yeah.
mean that a citizens group would go to the people's house. I meant a citizens group that might come up with some idea about what do we do in Danby, like the beautification thing. I'm just saying we should maybe think outside the box and come up with something, you know, but anyway. for
Somebody
next
who
week.
might be willing to haul this stuff away, you mean, kind of stuff?
Well,
There's any
people need
number of
us to-
ideas that might
Yeah.
come out of a little group.
Right.
I mean,
Cool.
I will venture to say we weren't gonna do this, but I'll say one more thing about it. And in the noise thing, one of the issues was, one of the members of one of the people who attended the noise thing said, that person said, I would like to be able to go out and help people fix their things so they don't make noise. I mean, so you just don't know what people might come up with if there were, you know, a call out, maybe a little thing in the newsletter or whatever that says, looking for ideas to help people, you know. I'm trying to think the soft
We'll
approach.
work on that idea a little bit. So you
Yeah.
get that, like,
Yeah.
Come up with,
like how it would work
Yeah,
let's talk about it next time.
okay.
and run it by Steve, see how he feels about it, because
Mhm.
ultimately ends up in his lap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where were we?
We were at, Greg came, it was
Oh, that was
something
Greg's report.
reminded
That's
him
right.
of the,
It was going, in the minutes and then he came back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the warrants.
And we approve general fund vouchers 165 to 173 for $9,901.43.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Seeing none. Right?
Connors,
Abstain?
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
I move we approve highway fund vouchers 93 to 98 for $7,862.67.
I can second that one.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Hearing none. Right.
Connors,
Abstain?
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Moving on to business. As Greg mentioned, Kate Kelly McKenzie, who's on the board in Caroline, volunteered to put a grant application together for the group. For the, what's it called? Greg,
It's the DOT Active Transportation Infrastructure
Yeah.
Investment Program.
Yeah.
name of it.
It's a mouthful. It's a fairly quick turnaround. The deadline is mid-June. And at this point, she's putting it together and looking for letters of support. She created a template, which was nice. I adapted it and created a letter of support for the town of Danby. And with your support, I can send that as our support for the process.
I move we send this letter of support.
I second it.
Any discussion? Mariah?
Connors,
Yes?
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
And then the CBDG grant application, something you need help with. And Greg got 2 quotes for firms that can do this for us. One is Thelma, with whom we've been working. And the other one is Choice Words, who did our last one. And I believe your recommendation, Greg, is that we go with Thelma.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're both qualified, and Choice Words did help secure the last grant for this year, but Thomas' proposal provided a little bit more information, and they also, because they manage the homeowner housing rehabilitation grant, that this is the same type of application that we would be applying for again. So they already have a wait list. They're already prepared. I know that they're already, even though Joel has not signed the contract, I know that they're already working on it behind the scenes on their sort of time, but it's just, we've had a good relationship with Toma, and they understand the program and the changes to the program too. I had a long conversation with the president of the company about the changes in the funding structure and all that's needed for contracting with homeowners now. So they just know these programs in and out, and just based on their proposal versus Choice Words, it didn't give too much more information. It just said, yeah, we'll write the grant for you.
Yeah.
My recommendation is to work with Toma.
And I think
move
it's
we
worth,
approve Tomo for the grant writing.
Second it.
Authorize the supervisor to sign.
Now, just so you know, and this is again, we're putting a little bit of a cart before the horse
Right.
here, just because the county hasn't said, yes, here's the $8,000. So if there's this outside chance, if that doesn't happen and Joel does sign it,
I could wait until after we hear from the county.
right, and you know, Tacoma's not gonna wanna put things on hold until then. They said that they wouldn't be putting the pen to paper until July, really, that this month is more about public outreach and getting things ready. So they might not actually invest a lot of their time anyway to do it. I don't want to delay the board's, you know, decision on who to contract with, but I just wanted to make that very clear that we haven't been awarded the money yet.
But the decision timeframe is July 18th meeting of the legislature?
June 18th,
June 18th, rather, yeah.
right.
I'm a little confused. The person writing the grant application is precursor to getting the money anyway, correct?
No, but there's two sources of funding.
To write. the
Yeah.
application.
I know, it's, yeah.
Yeah, because applying for these federal monies is a pain in the neck. There's a
There's a
lot
lot that has to
involved
go
with doing it, which is why we got a grant to do it the first time around. The county offered to do this, you know, in the interest of promoting, you know, affordability of housing and improvements. They made county money available to be tapped in this way and to help put applications together. So just it politically served. It's sort of a priming the pump kind of thing, you know, they'll help and then we got more money that way. It was a good deal.
So should we alter it to say, you know, the supervisor sign if we get the grant?
Yeah,
You could do
you
that.
could do that. I didn't get any indication from Toma that they needed to have this signed by tomorrow. It sounds, I mean, they're already preparing things for us, and so I think it might be okay to, unless they start saying, okay, where's that signed proposal? But I got the impression that they would be okay to wait until it was fully understood on June 18th, so also June 19th.
Yeah. But I
we
think
could
it's
submit
okay
it
to
back.
say, you know, contingent on
Yeah.
the legislature's approval, the board authorizes me to sign the contract with Toma.
Is that a friendly amendment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know.
What he said.
Yeah, okay.
We have to vote.
Yes, you ready? Yeah, okay, right.
Okay, I just wanna read this. To approve that the supervisor signs the proposal for Toma to write the CDBG grant application if we get the grant.
No.
Very good.
Yes, yeah.
Could you,
You know,
There's
if,
two uses of the word grant in there.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
aren't clearly defined. If we get the money
Agree.
from the county to write the grant.
application,
money,
I mean,
to
it's a
make
grant,
to make
county,
The grant
to make the grant
Yeah.
application.
It's appropriate.
You know, if there's some- you know, where it's contingent on getting the grant from the county
Right.
to prepare a grant application for the CBDG program.
all right, and that was moved by Woodward and seconded by Hanson.
Gotcha.
Thank you. All right, Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yep.
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, Mariah.
And what about,
You can.
scheduling a public hearing for July?
I move we,
First.
set a public hearing for July 1st
Regarding the draft.
for the CBD grant.
CDBG.
This is all assuming that we get the money.
I'll
right?
second that.
So this is required in conjunction with the application. So Greg, is this too contingent?
Sure.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. So we're authorizing, we're setting a public hearing, assuming we get the,
Contingent upon.
the county grant. And that's been moved, has it been seconded?
Yes, Leslie did.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, Mariah,
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Oh, and then Keith has been waiting patiently here to talk about the yield signs at Marsh and Hornburg.
All right, there we go. If I can get the mute off, then we can discuss it, I guess. So yeah, we've had one person call in to report this, and she brought it to my attention. And the more I looked into it, I really feel that there needs to be something there, so there's not intersecting traffic in that one left-hand part on the triangle there, as I showed on the, I think everybody got a little sketch of what's going on there.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little easier to show in a sketch than it was a letter or
Maybe-
something.
Maybe you share it. Is that something you could bring up easily, Mariah? Wondering.
Sorry, you want me
Everybody
to,
has- We can all see it.
I was wondering whether
We
they
have a
have-
copy here. We can see
Everybody's
it.
got it.
Okay, well,
Okay.
well, the public doesn't though.
um,
It's on the, it's linked to the agenda.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
linked, so that
We'll
that
let
anybody
Keith
can.
keep talking about it.
Yeah,
We don't have to sit here doing nothing.
yeah, right.
yeah, you guys talk about it. I'll get it up.
Yeah, so there's so after looking into it with her, with what her complaint was, is she's almost pulled out of there before, and somebody traveling right down, traveling Marsh Road, you'd be heading southbound on Marsh, you're intersecting the traffic that's coming up Hornbrook.
Right.
And the bottom line is she's lived on the road for 30 years, and she says she's almost gotten clobbered a couple times, and I didn't pull the accident records. I've never heard of that being a problematic intersection. However, I'm not 100% on that. I don't have all the information, but I feel that it's strongly, after looking at it, I think there strongly should be something a little bit different there. Instead of waiting for an accident to happen, eventually it will. The things are growing up. The site is a little bit, it's getting worse up there. Just because the site paths are growing in, and it's a safety issue, but this is something that's gone on for years in the town, and I want to run it by everybody to, just so there's no hard feelings about it, but I strongly feel that there should be a yield sign there.
I move we authorize a yield sign at the corner of Marsh and Harbor Roads, like your map.
Okay.
A new one.
Yeah. Thank you.
New one.
Add it to the four.
And that would be removing a sign too. It'd be
But it is
removing
there.
the sign on
Trade it.
Marsh Road.
Yeah, I think the sign in Marsh ought to come off, because otherwise.
Yeah.
Both directed to yield to each other, and that's like.
Yeah, I did update that a little bit. I want to make sure everybody's got the updated, there's a, when you're pulling out onto Hornbrook, from Marsh, there's a stop sign there. There would be one sign removed on Marsh Road. And there would be an added yield sign on the top left of Hornbrook Road.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's already a yield on the right side, correct, where it intersects Marsh?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, so there'd be two yields. Both of them are on Hornbrook.
Yep, that's correct.
In that direction, there's another yield coming the other way.
Well, no, there isn't. That's the one he would take out.
I thought he was gonna take out this one.
He's taking
the-
out that
Yeah,
one.
right.
There's another one here.
I think he said that was actually stop.
That's a stop sign
It's actually a stop sign. Yeah, there was a,
at the bottom of the.
At the bottom of the triangle?
I, It's actually a stop sign, yeah.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it?
I forgot to run it by my editor.
No, it's funny, because that's a hard intersection, because it
divides.
feels like
Two
that
separate roads, yeah.
this band is, I mean, gets to be dirt, and I mean, this,
Yeah.
the bend from Hornbrook to Marsh to the left seems like the main road.
Yes, because Marsh is so secondary in the other
yeah.
direction. Yeah.
So it makes sense that people,
Disregard.
yeah,
Yeah,
they will anyway.
so you'd take the stop sign out?
No,
Coming on to, no, you can't take the stop sign out on, you're talking about if you were to come, if you're coming north on Marsh Road and you're taking a left on Hornbrook, you have to stop there so you're not crossing, intercepting traffic there.
Okay, so the stop is actually on the north side of the road for traffic.
the stop is right here at the bottom.
That doesn't make
They're
any
going
sense.
the other direction.
You're coming
Coming
down
down.
Marsh.
They're coming down the road, yes,
That's
right.
it's facing the other way.
Okay,
It stopped here.
Yeah.
okay, right,
I second it.
all right. All right,
I believe, oh, okay, Hanson's, okay. Hanson is
we'll
seconding.
have a second to the motion to authorize the addition of a yield sign.
Very good.
I'm okay.
We all set?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't for the life of me get that to rotate. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be using Microsoft Word in the near future.
Uh-huh.
Sorry about that. Connors,
Yes,
Hanson,
Yep.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Canyon.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay. So now, next item though is also yours. And that's about the adding an MEO.
Yeah, yeah. So we have one person that's put in for retiring in November. And so Kent McNeil.
Yeah, really? Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. So we'd like to bring in another guy. Currently we have two positions. We have we technically we brought somebody back that was already there, and then we have Brian Berry's position we never filled. So now we would like to bring somebody on board to get them ready for winter before there's a couple people out there that we're looking at. Some of them are plow truck drivers already, which is a big plus. But however, they'll need to be trained in other stuffs too. So if we can get them in the summer months, that would be great. But we're definitely going to need some more help on board.
And, the only reason this requires authorization is because that's not in the budget.
Right.
What about Brian's salary has always been there, right?
So what, you have, 5 men now?
So we have six guys right now. Six guys plus a mechanic.
And that's all that's in the budget.
Or no, is that five? No, five.
So
guys.
you have five. You have
Five guys plus
five
mechanic.
plus-
I'm sorry. Yeah, six
Oh,
total.
You had
Six
six.
total.
Yeah,
6 positions, but Veronica one is
yeah.
filled.
including the
Yeah.
mechanic. There's 6 with the mechanic.
Right.
So if Keith leaves, then you have two positions to fill.
Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
So we
sorry.
really only budgeted
Okay.
this year for 5, to have 5 in there. But with
Yeah.
Kent, announcing his retirement to get someone else to train, I can say we've done so well in highway this year so far in our snow removal lines that we should be okay, to get somebody on insurance and get them in there. And then when Kent leaves, whether Keith decides to fill it again or not, it might stay open. That one will stay open for a bit, November, say for another month. So
So,
in the budget year. I mean, maybe he won't fill that. Who knows what
Yeah.
happens.
I move we authorize the highway department to fill the MEO position.
Did you say any open position?
no, but,
MEO.
yeah, right.
I heard that too. Any open.
MEO.
Any old position, no.
Hey, I'm in the second, let me second Pat again. I mean, I said Ken, no, I meant Pat, I said Pat.
Any old
Yeah.
person.
So we're actually, we're, in a sense, we're filling a previous position, which we weren't planning on filling. But so it's authorization to add, but same difference.
We're not adding a position. We're
We're-
filling an empty position.
Yeah, but we're
That's
adding
the
money into the
purpose.
budget to do it, because we weren't planning on filling it.
Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe not, yeah.
There's
she just
not-
said we're
we
not-
Well, it wasn't in the budget, yeah.
Right.
So
we
we-
want-
Brian's position was not in the budget. Okay.
Right.
No, because he passed away last May.
Right, right. But we didn't leave the money in the position, the
No.
pot for the position.
Well, I mean, Keith thought he could get by with 5 instead of 6. Which was great if it works.
Right.
Does it work, Keith?
Yeah, when you're down 1 or 2, then you're down to 3.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's, yeah, it's just, it's not gonna change the amount of work that we have in this town, you know what I mean? I'm going through a nightmare with this fuel shed right now that we have over there. And, it's like, we can't go out and work on sheds and stuff. When it's nice out, we have to be out there working on these roads. And when it's snowing, we have to be out there doing the snow removal and stuff. And it's,
Right.
if you're, when you're limited help, it takes all team on board. I mean, I was actually, I don't go out and work with these guys much, but like today I was out there all day for 10.5 hours with them. It was an all deck, hands on deck situation, and that's why I can't talk right now. I probably ate too much dirt today. But it's it does. It really, one key player's out, and it's a lot of work not getting done, and it can cause a lot of struggles. So
I can't say enough about how
yeah.
much and how well you do your job with such a small crew.
Well, thank you for that vote of confidence. I appreciate that, Paul.
I think your guys are really amazingly skilled and take on a lot of different chores, and they do it with excellence.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's worth pointing out what he had said before, was that he can fill this position now. That means somebody is retiring, they'll be trained
Yeah.
when that person
That's right.
retires. So,
Right.
so right now, this is filling this temporarily, they bring up to 6 from 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't guarantee it will go back to stay at 6.
Right, and
That will be
it gives you,
determined later.
it gives them the help in the summertime when it's most useful.
I don't like the idea of us being on a short staff at all anyway. The climate issues and the storms that are going around, I mean, some of these monster trees that fall down, wipe out a week's worth of work from other things that
Yeah.
is on.
I'm glad you said that. The trees are a whole new issue because all the ash trees are dying, and it's quite a fight. I mean, I go out at 2, 3 in the morning with the fire departments to clean these things up. It's quite a problem, and but it's
Yeah, they don't last long once they're dead.
no.
There's no rumblings of anybody else going, is there?
What's that, Paul?
Oh, you want a job or something?
No, there's no rumblings from, I'm thinking Jim, the other older member of your crew, right? He's sticking around, right? He's not.
Chip? I
No,
don't.
Jen.
Jim.
Oh, Jim, I'm sorry. No, actually, Jim, I think Jim's gonna stay on board for at least another 20 years, I guess. Well, not really, that's a joke. But he's gonna be with us for hopefully, quite some time, I hope. So he's a great asset to have on board, and
Kent.
What did I say?
Kent McNeil.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion and it's been seconded and it's been discussed. Are we ready? Yes. Mariah,
Connors,
Yes,
Hanson,
Yeah.
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
yes.
Thank you.
Next two items are related. We have two requests to use the town hall. And pursuant to our policy, it needs town board approval. One is by Dan Klein to meet with constituents, I guess.
yep.
And the other one is from
New
Molinara's office to have, an opportunity to meet with people who have issues of this. Can I have a motion?
I move we approve the use of the town hall for Dan Klein for his meeting and for Marlonado staff for their meeting.
I'll second that.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm
are
sorry.
there, are those
Are
okay?
we doing this in one resolution?
That's what
Approving
you
both
did.
in one resolution?
Oh, that's what I just did.
Very
Can we
good.
do that? We could do that,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, that's cool.
And that's-
I assume there's nothing going on during both of those.
Yeah, that
times.
was like a reasonable
I
thing
know
to ask.
it's not, but.
There's no conflicts associated with that, right, Mariah?
I do not see any conflicts.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Who
Okay.
seconded it?
I did. You ready?
Yes. Connors,
Okay,
Yes,
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, ARPA, including, well, I mean, where we left off was, requesting more information about the codification, how it would work. And I think Mariah's addressed that.
yes.
Are we ready to say we want to put that on as a, you want to pull the trigger on it and say go? Because it takes a while to do.
I do.
I move we approve ARPA funds for the codification cost.
I second it.
But does that mean, go ahead and work up a contract and do it?
Yep,
Okay. I want to make that clear. Not just saying, yes, it's on the list, but yes, we're gonna do it, and
Yes, it's good.
we'll move ahead with
yes,
it.
we're gonna do it. That's
Yeah.
what I did.
Any discussion?
I can, continue to think that, that it's gonna be a lot of money and town of 3,500, 3,500 people is kind of small. And that we have staff that are capable of probably taking care of it. And I know
Mhm.
that there are some, whatever. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
please.
I'm actually for it, but I agree with you. I mean, we all did it for a long time. It's doable, but this should streamline things. In the name of supporting our staff, you do a real great job. I wanna give this to you.
Thing that, I mean, I've been back and forth on it. But the thing that puts me in favor of it is is how necessary it is to interface with other software. Which didn't used to be something we needed to worry about, but anymore. There's an electronic framework for doing anything and they talk to each other. If you don't have this part of it, it really it hampers the whole operation.
I think it's going to help, it will help our staff and it will, one of the helps for the staff is that the residents they can easily find something, which is
Mhm.
huge. I mean, it's huge. So it may make it so that people will actually look for rules that they didn't bother to look for before. And they might say, oh, there is a rule about that.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Mariah.
Connors,
I'm abstaining.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon,
Yes.
thank you.
Now, other things,
Can we, I just realized there's no time on Dan's meeting in this note. Does anybody, I don't see it anyway.
I think he mentioned it.
It
though.
was.
I thought it was somewhere
I
too,
saw it somewhere.
Yeah, me too.
not in, not in this.
And it was
little
just gonna
note.
be for like half an hour,
with
hour.
three people local, yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned time.
Oh, so this is, yeah, it's not, oh, it says, yeah, so that must be a plan with them,
Yeah.
with the people.
It's only like two or
Yes,
three people.
yes,
right.
only three people. he's
Yeah.
using.
Sorry,
It's not like a public meeting.
so, yep.
Just wanted a place to meet. Okay, so, well, last time we pretty much narrowed it down to a few things we wanted to do. But we need more information on some of them in order to make progress. Paul, you still need a workup for this project.
Well, that's what I was gonna add to the agenda. It's not really like to,
It's not really an addition, and this is the appropriate time to talk about it.
oh, well, I want to take the board out there
Mhm.
and do it. I'm getting a little tired of drawing it. Goes back to the drawing board, drawing it, and then Mariah's got my elevations again, but, I mean, I drew it up, but I want the board to know what they're passing,
Mhm.
so that they can visualize it. And so that we know what we're gonna be doing, so like, I brought samples of stone, by the way,
Uh-huh.
back of the truck. You can take a look.
Yeah.
Can be done informally.
For the Blue
one by
Stone
one,
patio.
we're not doing it as a- But I think that we need to maybe come a little earlier to the next board meeting, take 10 minutes before the meeting. Look at what the ramp is, see what the drawing is, so that you're aware of what you're passing on, because there's been a number of renditions of this.
Yeah, so you're drawing it up, because we can look at it, it's still like daylight enough, we could do it after the meeting.
Yeah, I'd like to not keep dragging it out too. You want to go out after?
Yeah, sure, and then we can, I mean, details are not all there, but they're,
No, but then, if we generally agree on what the game plan is, then we could flesh it out so we can spec it.
right.
And
Yeah, one of my drawings actually that I've done already
Mhm.
shows it. I think Mariah has it right now,
Yeah.
but I'll be duplicating it.
Mhm.
So you can do it right after the meeting. That'd be great.
Yeah, let's do that.
Do you have a cost associated with your?
Yeah, that's what we, you need to,
Okay, here comes the next one.
yeah,
Zach back is no good anymore. I just had my knee drained. So there's a cost factor that going on. I just found I had another file that showed, if we just did it, very similar to the drawings, it was $30,000, not 10. So, I think we need to put it out to bid and find out what realistically
Mhm.
somebody's gonna be able to do it.
We have to have a full scope in order to do it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So we have to agree,
Yes, exactly.
do that kind of thing. Zach said he would help, doing the bid, trying to get bids from people, which is lovely.
Mhm.
We could have Mike bid on it, Naga Valley. Is it Mike?
You mean Mark,
No,
Keith?
Mark Yacovelli.
yeah,
Yeah, the guy who messed it up last time.
yes.
What about that guy that does the road work? I don't know whether he does that kind of stuff. The guy that was in West Danby,
That's what we mean.
the one that did the road project in West Danby, and
So collect some names, like.
Yeah, right, that's what we need to do.
Everybody should. if
I don't
you've
know
got
his
people
name.
who
That's
do-
what I'm saying.
But we can get it at the next meeting.
Yeah, it's essentially
I-
concrete work, so you can do, if you can do
It's
concrete
mostly-
work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
My knees just can't do it anymore. All of a sudden I realized I'm like past my prime. So
yeah.
yeah, I thought it was a little unrealistic to expect that to happen.
it wasn't until Wednesday.
Mhm.
Now it's unrealistic.
Uh,
There's-
Paul, can I
Laura.
interrupt?
Yes,
Oh, I think we better get a PW number, Public Works number. Because as you're getting quotes, so this isn't really gonna go out to bid because it's not above that 35,000 mark. If I don't know that much about the project, but I will
It's a
still
works
get
project,
you
though.
a PW, the Public Works number for prevailing wage. If people are gonna bid on this. I'll get that for you so that you have it to give to them when you get a quote.
That's a good idea.
Good.
Right, well, you can give it to Zach. And
Our
Okay.
facilities,
I'm around, but,
yeah,
you know, I'm not. I know
Sure.
how hard it is to do these things sometimes, that there's very clear guidelines and people interpret them differently. So
Mhm.
we have to get a game plan set up. You can't just do it, by the way, just so you know that.
yeah, and then within the scope of the project is going to be the actuator on the door. Yeah, adding a.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I asked the local electric supply to get me a bid on it, but
Mhm.
since we hadn't quite fleshed it out yet,
Right.
Yeah,
because we were talking about one over here and another one over here,
yeah,
so we can go back and readdress that. And it's very different, you know, me getting a number and the contractor
right.
having a number,
Yeah, right.
so take that labor out of the equation also.
Right. Well, you know, it's one thing for you to do Bluestone and something else for a contractor to do it, though.
Really.
Mhm.
I know, right? Bluestone's expensive enough, but I mean, it will be cheaper. And who knows, if we go through this process, I wouldn't mind laying the Bluestone. You know, I'm still laying Bluestone at my house, so.
Yeah,
um,
it's a classy element, but
Yeah, it's very classy. Yeah, absolutely. Nice way of doing it. And it'll be a lot cheaper than pouring more concrete. And I thought about using, we're talking to this contractor, right? There's a washed pebble stone that's kind of cool. And
in concrete.
yeah, you could pour concrete and, semi-hardens,
And you strip off the.
Spray. Pebbles on it and then
Mhm.
wash it. And nice finish, give some accent to concrete that otherwise you would get. I'm a little unsure about it until I do it myself to find out whether it's slippery or
Right,
not,
but that is
which
thinking.
becomes an issue. But
There's also Stampcrete.
what was that?
There's also Stampcrete.
Yeah, well, I'm a snob. I'd say no.
It's not classy enough,
I don't like it.
no?
So this will be on the agenda for next meeting.
Yeah,
And
but-
we'll
and
meet
we're
right
gonna-
afterwards.
But by then we
we're gonna
will
meet
have some
afterwards, yeah.
sense of what we're,
I thought we were going out right now.
we are.
Yeah, but,
okay.
yeah, but
But-
the next meeting, we'll
Okay,
decide to put it
gotcha.
on there with the.
Gotcha.
Right, if we can
Gotcha.
sort of agree on what the scope is, then you.
Got it. Let's go.
Zach and.
Now, where are we now?
and Paul
done.
can.
No, we're talking. about
Well,
ARPA.
if we need to, we should identify additional information needs in order for the things that we were looking to, prioritize for the ARPA money.
Yes.
one
I
of them
printed all
was,
that out now. Check it in.
The highway's gonna work on getting an idea what it would cost to replace the roller, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact, they've been working on it and they've got quotes and everything and can probably about how much it's gonna be. Keith, I'll be quiet now. I was just waiting for you to get off mute so I could talk while you're looking for the button.
So yeah, we got three quotes so far on the roller. Jack came in with some quotes and we're right around in that 150 range, which is good. And I also want to give out a big thank you to all of you that supported this for the highway. This is really an important piece of machinery. These things in catastrophic failure could be this could be the difference of a guy going home at the end of the day with one of these machines failing on one of these really steep hills that we do, rolling over in the ditches and stuff. They're a very dangerous piece of machinery. And the one that we have now is in the 80s, and we're not really sure if it's designed the way the newer ones are when they shut down. Sometimes these things can hit like a neutral scenario, and it's not good. So I want to thank you all very much for supporting that. That was a huge surprise to me and everybody there, and we'll definitely, the town will see some good longevity in it, and, I think it was a great decision, so well, just thanks again.
And thank you for all your work.
Thank you, yep.
And how about for the work around the facility to address the drainage issues and the parking?
Yep. So that, I haven't gone, I've got all the measurements in, but I still need to come up with, all the material costs. That's, I want to say in the neighborhood of 30,000, but I'll get back to you with a more accurate number. I think we're gonna bring that back to the board meeting, maybe in the next board meeting or something. We'll have some more accurate results of what we're gonna be putting into it.
The other thing you might want to think about is when you would actually do that project.
Well, that's really gonna depend on, the roads are first priority.
Yeah,
And it'd actually be a really good winter project, I think. I mean, if we had a light, something a light winter, and these where our quotes have to be in by September, is that correct? Or our
we have to have commitments by the end of the year. So
Yep.
if you guys are doing the work, it could be that we're just buying the materials, and that we
Yep.
have to have,
Yep.
basically, you have to buy them by the end of the year.
Yeah, we would hope to obtain those materials as soon as right away, and just have them on hand and ready to go. That way, when we do free up, that we can get out and get started working on it.
That's something that we reported in the April reporting for ARPA, that was, might not be a complete project, but the expenditure is complete.
Yeah,
But we could do that, or, and December, I'm sorry, for December, the end of year's report, that project could be complete expenditure wise.
yeah.
Same with the roller, it'd be complete expenditure wise by the end of the year.
And 30, I'm being really generous too, the 30,000. It should come in pretty well under that, being that we're doing the work to it. But
We're not holding you up, are we?
No, and
We've done everything.
that's what I'm
It's
getting
all-
at. We want to,
Right.
have what we need in order to say, yes, go.
Oh,
Yeah.
We need a dollar value. He's working on that. He'll have it by the next meeting.
Yeah.
yeah,
So we-
yep.
we'll do it.
Okay,
All
good.
right.
One of the other thing is that the water district thing, if you want to include it, but, well, we already
The fire
got instructions about that. I really think it would be nice to avoid that expense if we could, but that requires going back to the fire district and
She
so.
did. She went back to the fire. And they said no again, not until the lawyer changes his mind. She said they went back to the fire department.
Yeah.
They would not do it unless the lawyer said it was okay.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The question was, why did the lawyers say no? And what about that no could be revisited so that you could say yes?
Well,
Wow.
I added it to
Lawyers are,
my sheet here.
we got Guy,
Um,
we know all about that.
Well,
I mean, I'm gonna guess it'd probably be at least 16,000.
Yeah,
If
probably.
it costs
Something like
2,000
that.
delivered or whatever.
Hmm.
What about the fire hydrants?
Of course, it's an ongoing, that we probably could get quotes on at this
The-
point, right? And say go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it looked like 27, but I was
right,
gonna
that's
guess
23.
It's
was
somewhere
closer to
between 70 and 30, yeah.
So
You're probably gonna
30
get
for
installed.
that.
But,
Drainage at highway, the fuel monitoring for highway was important for them. I mean, that's like 13.
We also had on the last meeting, the easement purchase for the South Hill Recway.
yeah, but
was
we got a
the-
grant for part of it though.
We got a grant
For the
for
purchase part?
everything but
Well,
3,000.
we're in
Yeah.
for we've got about $3,000 left. It's about 8,000 altogether. We got a $5,000 grant.
Yes.
96.
So,
Three left.
so there's 3 left.
So they want the 3,000 out of here or out of our budget?
Right.
I've got 296,000 so far. Do we have 350 about?
300 and,
I don't, Laura had that sheet, because we already spent some.
Yeah, we already spent some, so yeah, is it more like 335 or something like that? I'll get you,
So
yeah, next
we
meeting.
got like 40,000 left.
So can you give that first? Everyone give a sheet for next week on where we are?
Do what?
No.
Yeah, sure.
well,
I'll do you a summary. I'll get a summary done. You guys
Great,
can
thank you.
fill in the,
Appreciate
you guys can fill in the blanks.
Yep.
yeah. Just so we know where we are. What about the purchase of the solar arrays you've been looking at?
I have to apologize. This week has not been a good week for me.
mm,
And Jim, you
about
there?
7,000.
Jim Holohan?
Yes, right.
You got your earphones on? Dude? Talk to me, Jim.
Yeah, he's waiting for you to call him Keith.
Keith? Anyway, Jim's got a guy who used to work for Tatum who thinks he can do it. And I was thinking about just going straight to Renovas because they know the system.
Yeah,
And I haven't been able to talk directly to Jim about why one would be better than the other. I mean, individuals are great, you know, but it's a bigger company. I'm sure they've done it a lot. That's kind of my feeling about it. So I'm not hearing anything from Jim.
So we got about $40,000.
Wait, I have to tell Keith, I was only joking around when I said your name, Keith.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh,
It was,
that's
I
all
was just saying, because Paul was trying to get
I
Jim's
never make a
attention.
mistake, Keith.
And I said he's waiting for you to call him Keith, and it still didn't work, but there's Jim.
There's
It
Jim.
It's all
worked.
good.
Hi, Jim.
Hello.
There's Jim.
Hi.
Wake up, Jim. So why?
Just trying to leave my office.
Yeah, it was the day I was gonna go down and get my knee rehabilitated, so I couldn't finish up the conversation. So I was gonna go to Renovas, my knee stopped that from happening. You've got a guy, what do you think about Renovas versus your guy?
I would say, well, since Renovas put it in, they know more about it. But they may, I don't know what benefit they would have and, you know.
They're out of the picture, you know?
What's
Except that they're out of the picture now. They have nothing to do with the actual running of the thing. But it would make them look better if it's in good shape.
True. This person sounded interested in doing, I talked to the owner of the company. He said, you know, they do contracts. I asked if they do maintenance contracts if we need something. He said, yeah, I'm not trying to sell any contracts. I'm happy to come up and give you a price of the, you know, what the system looks like. He bought, it's My Solar Grid. It was a company called, I think it was ETM Solar. They've been out of Elmira area or Endicott area for a pretty long time. A few people from Tatum went to work there afterwards. Either way, it's fine.
You know, I'd love to hand it off to Jim and have him just set it up and go out and have this guy take a look at it. Does anybody else have an opinion?
if that's in your wheelhouse, as they say, is it something you could handle, Jim?
Yeah, and Paul, if you send me any information you have on it, you have the data, what's come in on it, you know, how much it actually produces, and I would need some utility bills and the maybe the leasing agreement, so we could see what size the system is and what the inverters were as far as his warranties on them. So we get a good idea. He just sounded very knowledgeable of what we would need for it, so.
Okay,
And
so
he
I'm gonna do.
did call back to follow up to see if I had the information.
I'm not sure that I had them in my files here at the town, but I think Laura has them. Hello, Laura.
I'm here. I'm here.
Hello.
Yep, I have all the files on that system. Yes.
Okay, so Jim's gonna come see you and get all those files.
Okay.
And Laura, do you have the data, how much it actually generates? Paul, weren't you doing that while monitoring that?
I was, for about 4 or 5 years, I was doing a whole spreadsheet on it.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
she should have that too.
Okay,
And I stopped because it was working.
Yeah, right.
And it didn't seem like it was necessary for me to keep doing it. And also I retired. Apparently not, but
Well, you let me know what the data is that you really need. And I'll do whatever I have to do. We can always call and they have, things, the same way that NICEAG does, where they can just send us stuff as well, that gives us our history.
Who has that?
Goes back, NICEAG also,
So investment for the production, right?
yeah,
And NICEAG, so we can get that information, yeah.
I'll send you a list, Laura, and set up a time to come see you.
Okay, sounds great.
All right?
so as much as I should say, you should go down and see what those spreadsheets have in them before you say, okay, goody, because that is gonna help you figure out what else you might want.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I would meet with her sooner rather than later, and then then just recalibrate what you want her to get for you. Because all that stuff was, eventually through NICEAG. And for all those years, I was collecting all those bills. So anyway, take a look at the first 4 or 5 years. Great, thank you, Jim.
Yep.
I feel so much better.
It'll take a little bit of effort because Laura's gonna be gone the second half of the month. And she's dealing with a family situation now that's gonna be taking some more time, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you, Joel.
So we got, it looks to me like we have about 25,000 left.
Yeah, maybe.
That's not counting the solar, so.
Yeah, that's right,
I mean,
not counting solar.
put
With
25
solar in there, we
minutes.
might be having to decide what we're not going to include.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well,
So,
if the solar, there's options as well. Because we have had some money saved up for it.
right, and
We
we're
could
talking about
use
the.
the ARPA money for the remainder as opposed to the.
Yes,
That's
exactly,
about 70, I think.
right.
So that 25,000 might do it with the money that we've set aside.
Already set aside.
Right.
Right,
I'll put that all on that summary I'm gonna do.
okay, good. Does that work for now?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay, well then, with that, what specifically, did anybody have something they want to make sure we get on the agenda for next time?
Everything you said so during the meeting.
Everything that we didn't do.
Not mentioned was the, well, I can say, I've been trying to get out of Warren Cross a proposal. And he thinks he'll have it for June, so it should be for the next meeting.
Yeah, I got asked about that also.
Yeah.
By a resident.
And although we still haven't heard, we still have a couple things outstanding, like the policy for disposition of assets, which was a 2-person committee, but that's probably not gonna happen until July, I'm guessing, in light of what's happened recently. Okay, now we'll talk about code issues and all the other stuff we mentioned. With that, meeting adjourned. Thank you all for.
The email list,
What?
email list, email users list.
Right,
That was-
email.
that was-
That's one of those items.
That was one of the ones we said during the meeting.
Yep, yep. Okay.
Hey, the tour is ready to begin.
Hang on a second while I get things shut down here.